lecture where I'm going to explain the arrays today. So first you need to understand why we actually need an array. So for instance, if you have let's say a few guys that you want to save their salaries in, and you may have to create multiple variables. For example, if there is a guy who you wanna say his ID is 0 and you wanna give him, let's say 5 Bitcoin per year, you put it like this, and then you would need to define another guy salary that would be 1 ID, and you want to give him 6 Bitcoin per year, and then similarly you want to do another guy ID, and that would be, let's say, ID 2, and you want to give him, say 4 Bitcoin per year, and so on and so forth. So if we continue with this, and we're taking for example 5 guys, okay, and what we do is we save their salaries, and that's in Bitcoin per year. So these are 1 2 3, and we have another one now, salary 4. I started with this ID 0 because C language array starts with 0, so this is a bit more easier to understand, although in real world you may not have ID 0. So here we go. So this is the salaries Bitcoin per year. And now if imagine we have 1,000 people, then we'll have to define 1,000 variables, and that's a bit hard to do. So if we want to print this, that we have to literally print these salaries by saying, let's say this \n. I do another one like this, because what I want to do is I want to print every salary on the next line. Okay, so this one 1 2 3, and then last one is 4. Okay, and if we want to do these salaries, we would say salary 0 comma salary 1, salary 2, salary 3, salary 4, and this way we would print all 4. This is 5 salaries, okay, and if we run this program, it will show us all these 5 salaries being printed on the screen. So let's do this. Okay, here we go, bingo. Start with the 5. So first one is obviously the 5 is printed there, 6 7 8 9. Now what if I want to save their let's say pay rise as well? So everybody gets a pay rise of, let's say 10%. So I would need to say pay rise 0, pay rise 0. That would be let's say first person I gave a pay rise of 10% a year. Second person I give a pay rise of because I need to remember what their pay rise is, and that's why I give 15% a year. And then the third one I would give a pay rise of pay rise of 2, and I would give 10% a year. And you could do that, right? So you have you put a comma here, and here comma, and pay rise. Why are we doing this? Because we're trying to solve a problem without arrays first, so that we really understand why we use arrays. Okay, that will help you to comprehend things better. So this guy would give a 20% pay rise every year, which is quite a handsome pay rise, right? Pay rise. By the way, I got a misspelled pay rise other way around here. This one also pay, right? The rest is fine. So I'm going to do here pay rise 4, okay, and that would be, let's say I gave this guy 9% pay rise. So this way, now if I printed their salaries, right? So next thing I want to do is I also want to print their pay rise. So I would say salary is equal to this, right? And pay rise equal to pay rise equal to pay rise, right? Like this. Okay. Percentage G. And then similarly I have to do this for everybody. For example, if it's and I have to pretty much copy paste this, and I can't use loop because these are variables, so I have to literally copy this and paste it here, and then I have to do it again all over here as well. And I'm gonna do this so that you can see this on the screen. See how complicated it is, right, to print all of it. And then I'm gonna do another one here like this, okay, and then I'm gonna do another one here, last one, like this, okay. Now if you look at it, so how much we have to do, I have to put all these variables then. I mean, first would be salary and then the pay rise 0, so I have to do pay rise 0, okay, and then I have to do these sets over and over again until and because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the next line so you can also see that here. So this is the salary pay rise 1, then I have to do another set, and I'm to be quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this. I could do this way as well. So this is a pay rise 1, salary 2, pay rise 2, salary 3, pay rise 3, salary 4, pay rise 4. Now see how complicated it is to print the pay rise and salary with we can't use a loop because these are different, you know, variables, all of them. And if I run this, and I would hopefully not get an error, which I did. So most often these are the bits and pieces that you miss along the way. There's no pay rise. Okay, there's a pay rise 4, and it says pay rise on 16, line 16. So we're gonna go in line 16, and we got into salary 4, and okay, pay rise 9, and this is the error because it's supposed to be a comma here. See, this is also you need to learn while you're doing it how to fix the error. So you one by one do it. So 18 we made a mistake again. See, another problem with not using array is it's so messy now that I'm gonna make a lot of what you call it, errors, right? And I think what I did here now is okay, salary. If I do this way, yeah, on the same line, I brought it to the down line underneath so that you can actually see it, but I don't have to do that. I can keep it on the same line so that there are no errors or issues. So I could do this and run it again, and it'll give another error, I'm sure. Okay, 19 now, 19. So what we need to do is we need to take that one up there as well, so we can get rid of all these error one by one. So it's indentation error because I moved this to a next line so that you can see it, but unfortunately I had to bring it back there. Okay, so let's see how many are these how many variable I'm supposed to print here. I would say this is going to be salary 0, okay, and then pay rise 0, 2, salary 1, pay rise 1, 4, salary 2, pay rise 2, and then we have is salary 3, pay rise actually 3, and then we have a salary 4, pay rise 4. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you how complicated it is to deal with a lot of variables at the same time to build an HR system. So if we we got almost how many variables now? 10 variables. So this is pay rise 1, salary 1, pay rise 1, salary 2, pay rise 2, then we salary 3, pay rise 3, salary 4, pay rise 4. See, and this way we can actually put all the variables there and in the same line, and then we try and print it and see if it printed this time. Run this and see what happens. So we got now still an error on 18, line 18. Let's go there and fix it. So see how complicated this has made my life. And when I do this same thing with the arrays, you'll realize that I will not get many errors. The reason is because arrays are tidy, better way to do these things. Although in the memory, arrays and variables take the same kind of what you call it, same space. So this one is saying error pairize undeclared first use in the function pairize. So this is a misspelled pari. Instead of saying pairize, I said pari something. See, now if I would have used arrays, I would not have had that problem. So that's another point we learned. It's messy. You're supposed to make more errors. And imagine if we're just dealing with 5 variables now. And if you have to deal with, let's say, 100 variables, then in a company you will have a human resource of, let's say, thousands. Right? So here, see, this is, I easily made this mistake, pairize. That's how it's supposed to be. So similarly, you misspell something. And let's see if we get another error. Okay, we got another error. Pari, again, 4 also, the same issue. So we got to go there and fix the 4 one as well on the same line. Pairize 4. See, I mean, if I were doing this for a big company, I would be fixing these errors whole day today. But here you go. Finally, we got the output. And see, a bit clumsy as well. This line is not as it's supposed to be, right? So it's sort of like an indentation is wrong. So we go back there and fix the indentation. Now, I did this without arrays, and I'll show you how easy that is with arrays. Okay, so let me first fix this indentation problem, and I think this one is here, right? Because I sort of this one, I think, yeah, pairize 2, yeah, this one. So now you run it again, it will fix the indentation problem. Bingo, we got this now pretty much. You know, some are still further up, some are further down, and for example this one is slightly, you know, number 1 is supposed to be slightly this way, this line here, salary 1. So salary 1, pairize 1, this one. Now it will be okay. So we got so many problems to deal with, indentation and then dealing with it. Now let's take this, right? Let's take this and we try and fix this problem with an array. Okay, I'm going to leave that code there, up there. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with arrays and see how easy that is. So in arrays, what you do is we would call it a salary. Okay, first look at the salary, and then we look at the pairize after that, because for pairize we need 2-dimension array. So we're going to start with the single dimension array, and I'm going to leave that code there so that you can, you know, look at it, then compare the code. So let's say I am going to now just to get rid of this so that you get more screen. These are comments. We don't need those comments. So here we go. So we just need a little bit space there. Even I can take this code slightly up so that, okay, I'm going to keep that for record, and now I'm going to start the same thing and do the same thing with the array. So this is an integer array HR. I call it HR array, and then I need to put these salaries, right? So all I have to do is I say 5, 6, 4, 3, 5. Okay, 5, 6, 4, 3, 5. And what I did here with all this initially, all these 0, 1, 2, 3 salary 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could do this with simply HR. Okay, and 5, 6, 4, 3, 5. Now I got these values in there, and I want to print it. All I have to do is use a for loop, because this is an array, and I would say integer I is equal to 0, I less than 5, because and I plus plus. Why I'm doing this? Because when I did this thing, right? So let me actually do another thing. I can run the sorry about that. nodes. I need to run the nodes. Okay, because I need to clean this as well. Okay, so what happens is when we define an HR array, when we ran this particular this HR array, okay, what happened in the memory? That's what happened actually. It created an array, okay, it created an array like this and called it HR. Called it what? HR. Sorry, it's a bit difficult to write this here, but I am sure we can draw the correct lines there. So it created 5 because there I put here, and by the way, I'm also supposed to put here like this 5. This is what I forgot. Okay, and that's how you. And when I put 5, I got these 5 boxes in the memory created because I said that. And when I simply put 5, and 5 was 5 is stored here, okay, at the first one. And when I say HR5, it created 5 boxes. So this first one is 0, second one is 1, third one is 2, then 3, and then 4. Okay, and when I put here 5, it went to there, and 6 is here like this. Then this is 4, and then this is 3, and then this is 5 again. So this way all these values are stored in an array which is created a memory of a set of integers, and that's how it is stored. Okay, now what happens here when I did this, right? When I did this randomly, it created multiple variables and put all these values in each of these variables. Okay, and that was a little difficult to really manage, as you saw all this, right? And when I printed it, so now because it's all in there, all I have to do is print it. So when I basically let's do this one without what you call it, without we print this without for loop first. So when we want to print it, it's very easy. All I have to do is, and now I'm going to do the same thing which I did up there. I will do this %d first, and then another percentage, I would say salary 0, okay, is equal to %d. Then I do salary, then I would do \n, and I have to do this all over again. Salary 1 is equal to again %d. Then I do \n again. Then I say salary 2 equal to %d, and then I do salary 3 equal to %d. Then I do I need to backslash so that it's next line. So all this is backslash. So then we got a salary 4, right? Salary 4 is equal to %d, and that would be the last salary. And when we want to print it into an array, all we have to do is HR. It starts with the first salary is as you saw there, right? Where is the first salary? HR sub 0. That's the first salary is. So I'm gonna put there HR sub 0 there, and that's where it prints the salary 1 0. Where's the second salary? HR sub here 1, right? And then I'm going to do here HR sub 1, then comma, then HR sub 2, then comma HR sub 3. But if I carry on doing this, right, so if there's 100 arrays, I have to manually do it. So there's a better way to do this. I'll come back to that. But as you can see here now, the salary, let me run it a little bit up there. As you can see, HR sub 0 is this 5, so it will say salary 0 5, and then HR sub 1 is this 6, so here it will say salary 1 is 6, and salary I didn't say salary 2 here, this one salary 2 HR, and salary 2 would be HR sub 2 3, so sorry, salary 2 would be HR sub 2, and then salary 3 would be HR sub 3, salary 4 would be HR sub 4, and if I run this, it would print it the salary, and then I need to print the other one. We'll come back to that, the pay rise later, but let's run this and see what it does. Oh, first it's going to give you an error. So what is the error? Printf is a line what 11, and this is an error here. So let's see what we did wrong here. We started printf and then we finished printf, and then HR1 2 3 4. So we did not put a terminator here, so basically this is an error a line above. So when you do this HR, integer HR, you're supposed to put a terminator here like this, okay, and because this is an array. So if we run this now, bingo, it's basically doing it, and I think I got to put a \n after salary 2, otherwise now it's a bit of a jumbled really. If you look at it, we had a printf command there on top, the one, let me see here, this top one is a, and then we salary sub 4, and after that I think we need to put a \n here as well, like this, so that it goes, it print this one on next line, and then salary 3 also requires a \n, not like this, it should need a \n like this, and I would keep it sort of like uniformed so that it nicely prints it there. Here we go. See, still now I'll tell you an easier way to do this. It's still okay, but I will tell you an easier way. See here the screen here, if you see this screen, we got a, obviously we printed this top one, so this is where we want to reach, but in a better way, like this. So now what I want to do is, instead of doing this, I could do this, I can comment this line like this, and I can do the whole thing with a loop, and a better with the arrays. How? Integer I is equal to 0, then I say I is less than 5, and I plus plus. Now I got this loop, and all I have to do is print command, and I would say salary, okay, and then I say percentage, salary percentage, okay, D, and then I would say equal to, and then I would say percentage D again, and I'm going to do a magic here. All I have to do is put I here, comma, HR sub I. Now what would happen is the loop will start running, okay, and let me clear this. It will start from 0, right? So as you can see here, it starts from 0. So when the first time loop run, what will be I? I will be 0. So you will say salary sub 0 equal to HR sub I, mean HR sub 0. So it will print here HR sub 0. And what is HR sub 0? 5. 5 is HR sub 0. So first time it will print 5, I, salary 1 equal to, salary 0 is equal to 5. And then loop runs again. What will the value of I? 1. Because every time it increases. So there will be salary sub 1, salary 1 is equal to HR sub 1. What is HR sub 1? 6. Third time loop runs, it will be, I will be 2. So salary 2 is equal to HR sub 2, which is this, okay. And the fourth time loop will run, it will be salary 3, because the I value will be 3, and HR sub 3 will become what? This 3. And fifth time when the loop runs, it will be, I would be 4. So 4, salary 4 is equal to HR sub I 4. That I would be 4. Here would be 4, and also here would be 4. So when you have a 4 here, okay, and also 4 here, okay, so what would that be? HR sub 4 is actually 5, so it will print 5, and here just for salary 4, okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to see run it, and just one thing I didn't do is \n, but so that every time it prints on the next line. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this, and this line will print what we did earlier on, right? So I'm going to leave it there so you can see the difference. And if you want, I can print here a line as well, so that you know this is next. This is a program above there, and this is a program below. \n. I think I can put a \n like this, so that there is a bit line there, so that new program has the previous one has old-fashioned way of doing thing and new way of doing thing through array. So we run this again and see. Here you go. See how neatly the array has printed it. Okay, and look at the how much struggle we have to go through achieving this one without array through variables, and how easily we could do it with array. So what all we had to do was declare this array, put these values there, and then print these values through a loop. Now this was a one-dimensional array. We haven't yet achieved the full potential yet of array, because if you look at this, okay, this is from here, salary 1 and all that is done. By the way, because this is, we want to get the same output, so I may want to remove this a little bit here, the space here. I'll give you exactly same output. See, now there's no space. See, exactly same output, right? This is without array, and this is with array. But we want to achieve this one as well. Okay, pairize. Okay, not by defining new variable. So what we could do is we could make an extension to this like this. Okay, and and we add another dimension to it. We call it 2 here, right? So that will be 2 dimensions. So what are we doing here? Let me actually explain you what I just did. I said HR5 2. So I created another dimension, and I need to actually explain you before I can move forward. I need to get a bit of white space there so that I can show you what I actually just did. Okay, now what I did is I'm going to remove this. Okay, all of it. So initially when I did HR for sub 5, only this, right? When I did this, it created something like that for me. Remember that? Yeah? What was that? It had 5, right? So it created 5 boxes for me in a single dimension, right? Like this, like this. This is 1, 2, 3, then 4 and 5. Okay, these are just, some are bigger, some are smaller, and 1. This is how I explained it to you. Now I'm going to explain you how 2-dimensional array work. Okay, that was a single dimension array. And here what I did is I put here 5, as you see. When I did this HR sub, this is your 5, okay, and I call it HR array, right? So this is HR array. Actually, it's a small HR, but I could do this, because remember, the name has to be exactly same. So this is small and this is big. This is not right? So it has to be the exactly same name. So I could later on change this, but it's just for understanding purpose. So what is this? 6, then 4, then 3, then 5. So that's how it was stored in there, right? So what is next? When I did this, okay, it created another one like that. Okay, it created another, and because I said I said what? 2 here. The second dimension has 2 elements. So first element would be 0, then second element would become 1, right? With 2-dimension array, if I want to access 5, okay, that would be, let me actually brush this thing up. By the way, this is wrong. This is not how it should be, HR. HR should be how? Because look at this. It's a small, right? HR. So it should be like exactly the way you defined it. HR in small. Then you will not get an error, right? So if I want to access 5, previously it was HR sub. What it was? HR sub? Only 0. But now because it's 2 dimensions, so HR sub 0. And then this is also 0, 0, and because it's 2 dimension 0, 0, that will become what? 5, right? So what if I want to put for 0, this is a 0 pair salary, and I want to put a pairize here, okay? Which pairize? If I go back, and I'll show you which pairize. If you go back there, this pairize, okay? And this pairize, what I want to do is I want to create this pairize, and I want to put all of it into this. So what is that? 10%. So that would be HR sub 0. Then the pairize would be stored where? HR sub 0 and 1. And this is for the pairize. This pairize I'm storing. This is I did in a variable, and now I'm doing the same thing with an array. So how do I store pairize 1? Okay. Pairize 1 I stored as 15, but here I would access in 2-dimension array as HR sub 1 and 1. Both are 1 and 1. That's 15. HR sub 1 and 0, I mean HR sub 1, and if I say 0 here, okay, that is 6, this one. And similarly, I want to do 10. It will be like this. I put it there. 20 I want to put there, and 9 I want to put there. Now I have a 2-dimension array, okay? And if I want to, I could store it without array like this, the way I did it, right? Or I could do exactly what you see on my screen. So if I go back in there and I define that 2-dimension array and store it, what do I have to do? I have to put here HR sub 5 and 2, and it will create what? Exactly this array as you see here, right? It will create this array what you see on the screen. So if I want to go back and I want to let's say put these values, so what I have to do is I could do it very easy and nicely, and that's how I would do it. So I could put another this one like this, and I can put in the form of sets. So I could do this. So if I do this, and then I do another bracket, and I do 15, right, like this, and I do another bracket here, curly bracket, okay, 10, okay, then I do another curly bracket starting like this, 3, and that will be 20, and then I do another curly bracket, and that's 9. What I did here, as you see, I put all these values inside double dimension array. So you know this value and each salary 0 and 10, which I normally declare to variable, now I have 2-dimension array. So I put 5 in HR sub 0 0 and 10 in HR sub 0 1, right? So this is how I did this one to replace this one, and then to replace this one I put another set there, and to replace this one I put another set there, this one, and then this one I put another set, and finally I put this one to replace the last one. And as you see how this is stored actually inside the array, this is how it actually stored inside the array. Let me actually do a little bit. Yeah, here you go. So these, when I did this 5 10, it went into 5 and 10 like this, and if I want to access it, that would be 0 0 for 5 and 0 1 for 10. So HR sub 0 0 for 5 and HR sub 0 1 for 10. Okay, this is how I access it, and that's how I want to print it as well. But let me basically do this again, right? See, I want to get an output just like this one. If I run this, okay, if I run this, you see here, this is the output you get, and that's because of this print command. And after that you printed this and you get this, and now I'm using a simple loop. I'm going to actually print exactly that one in a single line with a 2-dimension array, and I explained you how 2-dimension array is stored, and now I'm going to show you how it is printed in a single line within a loop. All you have to do is do this, and it will print salary D, and if I show you there, right, it will print salary I, value of I, and then HR sub I would be first time when the loop runs 0 0, HR sub 0 0, and I showed you what is HR sub 0 0. HR sub 0 0 is 5, so it will print 5 here. Here it will print 5. Then pairize D, which is basically I. Okay, so this D is I, so pairize 0 is equal to, then you print this, and this is HR I sub 1. And what is HR sub 1? I sub 1? 0 and 1. So when the first time loop runs, you will print salary 0, because this is I, because I the value is 0, and then equal to HR sub I 0. So this is where it will print HR sub I 0, which is first time 5. So it will print salary 0 is equal to 5, pairize 0, because this is again I here, is equal to, this D is correspond to this one here, right? This one. So it's a HR I sub 1. What is HR sub I sub 1? HR I is 0, right? So this is 0. Sub 1 mean 0. What is 0 sub 1? HR 0 sub 1 in 2-dimension. 10, right? So this is 10. So it will print 10 on the first time loop run. Second time loop run, what will be the value of I? When the second time loop run, what will be the value of I? 1, right? And you come here, you print salary sub I, which is salary 1 equal to HR 1 0. What is HR 1 0? This is HR 1 0, 6. HR 1 0 is 1 and 0, 6. It will print 6 here. Pairize I is again 1 equal to D, which is I sub 1. So this is HR 1 1, because I is 1. I is 1, as you see here. So 1 1 is 15. It will print 15. Third time when the loop run, I will become 2, and HR sub I 0 becomes 2 sub 0. So what is 2 sub 0? This is 2, this is 0, this is 0, this row is 0, this row is 2, and this column is 0. So this is 4, it will print 4, and against this HR 2 sub 1 is basically 10, it will print 10, and this way it will print the whole thing all the way. And all we need to do is run this. So all we achieved by doing these lines here, how many lines? Look at the amount of code in variable. You did this all code to achieve this output, as you see on the screen. Okay, and I'm going to do the same output using loop and with the 2-dimension array with how much code? This amount of code. I can get rid of this one, so that you know how much code you are having. Only this much code, that's it. And imagine you have only 5 elements. What about if you have 1000 elements? How many number of variable you have to declare if you do it with without array? 1000 variables, and then you have to print them 1000, and here all you have to do is put those values, and then you run a loop up till 1001, and it will print all of it, all those values. Okay, that's how easy it is. I'm going to go back to 5, and I'm going to just run this and show you how it works. See, this one is with variables and this one is with array, the bottom one. And do you see any difference between the two? No. But do you see the difference between the code? This code is with array, 2-dimension array. This all code is without 2-dimension array using simple variable. And that is okay if it is a small program. But if it's a big program, then it becomes a big challenge, right? Now, let's move on. And the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to take values from the user, okay? Now what we can do is we can get rid of this code, and I just want to save it for your reference into a file, so that if you want to try it out yourself, you can. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this one. Okay, and I can use some notes here. Okay. And later on we can come back to that. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of this code, and I'm going to do this program, going to improve this program further. Okay. What I want to do in this program is I want to do two things. I want to take the values now not by let's do some operations on the array. Right? What operation we want to do? We want to ask user, do a while loop and ask user to enter a salary he wish to update, and then we just update that salary. And how would we do that? And imagine when you run this program, imagine that you have these IDs as well. So first employee is ID 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a two-dimensional array. What we want to do is we want to put ID and name to this two-dimensional array. That's the next thing we want to do. So ID is very simple. What we have to do is all we have to do is employee ID, emp employee ID, and we can say equal to, and then we say percentage %d. All we have to put is put another I here, and that will print the employee ID, and we think I is ID, right? So this is the employee ID 0, employee salary sub 0, 5, and now we don't need to, if we say employee ID 0, salary sub 0, we don't have to say that, because it's obvious that's employee the salary, so we can remove this sub, and we can remove this I and also this I, and this will now become just employee ID 0 has a salary, and we can put here employee ID 0 has salary of, let's say, that month Bitcoin per year with pay rise of that money percent per year. Okay, now we do it become a bit more human-like system, right? If you run it, employee ID 0 has salary of 5 Bitcoin per year with pay rise 10%. So we don't need to equal sign here, so we can remove this equal sign. And see how easy it is to make changes. Now see, it becomes a bit more human-like, right? Now what you want to do is you want to define another array of a name, because you want to give these guys names as well, isn't it? Employee ID 0 should have a name, right? So we start with some names there. So name is normally a character array, okay? And with a character array, you can define a character array by simply like this, character, okay? And you can say name, okay, like this, and it's a two-dimensional array. Why two-dimensional array? Why not single-dimensional array? I'll explain that in a minute, right? With two-dimensional array, I'll start a two-dimensional array of character, and then I will explain you how that works. So let me I could explain. I can start by explaining a name, two-dimensional array. So we need how many rows? So let's go back to this again. I'm gonna do it like this, right, so that I could explain you. So if this is the HR01, and if I want to do another, let's say, array name, what I really want is I want the name 00 to to correspond to exactly same, and 1 to correspond to that. So I want to give everybody a name. This is how you do an integer array. But if you want to do a name array, I will do parallel name array here, and that would be just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to do the name array here. So that would be, if you to create two-dimensional name array, a character, which I just did, okay, it will also create exactly 2 tables with whatever we put it. Okay, so a name is normally, let's say, imagine we have a smart names where we don't have a long name, we have a short names, right? Because for understanding, so how many record I need? 5, right? Yeah, and a name could be how many character? Let's say maximum 10 character. So what I'm doing here is, when I did this name, it created on the screen, and let me actually do this, and I can clean this because I think you don't need this anymore. So let's talk about names now. When I did this, it created a name array, okay, and it created same way, it created arrays and columns for a name as well. I'm sorry, I'm a bit clumsy because I don't have a pen. So if we do this, okay, how many it did created? 5, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So exactly this is what it did when we did this name. So we did name sub 0 and name sub 1. What would be name sub 0 and name sub 1? Okay, name sub 0 would be 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what happens when you did this 5. Okay, when you did 10, it created 10 columns. What it did? Created 10 columns for you. Columns are easier, right? I need to buy a pen. How many are these? So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, and then finally 9. So that's what exactly the name sub, when I did name sub 5, 10, that's what exactly it created in the memory and array. So when you want to put, let's say, a name in it, okay, the first character of that name will go into 0, 0, second character will go into 0, 1. So let's say I want to put there John, okay, J-O-H-N, John. And how would I do that? Obviously the rest of the spaces will be empty, right? The rest of the spaces will be empty, and I could do John Doe, D-O-W, John Doe. Okay. Sorry. We basically created this two-dimensional array name, right? So we put a John in there. So John is obviously into 0. If you look at the row, it's saved in 0. Okay, and then you want to say maybe Mark, right? And that's how Mark will be stored. Okay, Mark. Let's keep the same surname now. Maybe we call him Doe as well, Mark Doe. They're brothers and working for the same company, right? And let's see how Doe brothers are actually saved when we create this two-dimensional array. So if I do this, I would have to do this like this, right? I can simply do it like this. It's simpler saving this one, and comma, then Mark Doe. So then we're gonna go with another name, Ali Abdullah. Okay, then we're gonna go with another name, Madasa Iqbal. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna have another name, Kumar, ready. Okay. Now, how many names we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how are they actually? Are they all names under 10 character? Yeah, these are it's supposed to be under 10 character. I think Abdullah, Ali Abdullah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So basically this is 12 characters. So I have to put here 15 because the columns are, because each, like I explained earlier on, it will, if I say Mudassir, right? Let's say Mudassir, the last name, the second last name. Okay, I do this. So and space I, where the Q, B, A, L will go. Q, B, A, and L. Okay, see, there's an overflow. So that's why the 10 won't work. That's why I need 15. Okay, and that's why I put 15 so that all these big names can. I think that's the longest name, so we need to accommodate that. So this is this would be how many? This can be accommodated in 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So if I put 15, 14, so it'll easily accommodate, and the rest of the names are smaller than this one. So if we do this, let's run this now. I think the second thing we need to know is that how we print this, right? So we got employee ID, and now we got a name, and we got already an array of character. Okay, and we have to put here terminator so we can print it properly. So you want to put the employee name in the beginning, right? Here. So we say employee name, okay, name, and this one, and because it is a string, okay, so we can put here percentage s, okay, and then it is a string, so all we have to do is in the beginning of this we just need to put here name sub I. Now you must be wondering that why we have to we have two-dimensional array here, right? And what I'm going to do is, I hope it won't give me an error, I'm going to put this next line so you can see it, right? So when I define this array here, it's a two-dimensional array, but when I'm printing it, I'm putting percentage s as a string, and I'm just defining it a single dimension. Why? Because if you put s, right, percentage s, you print it, then you just need to give this dimension, the rows only, and then it automatically prints the whole of it, right? So if I put, when it is the loop runs and it says I is equal to 0, it will be name sub 0, this, which is this whole entire name, John Doe. Name sub 1 is Mark Doe. Then name sub 2 is actually Abdullah, Ali Abdullah. And then name sub 3 is Mudassir Iqbal, name sub 4 is Reddy. And it will print all these names here. But if I put here a character, for instance, I put here printed as a character, then I need to print two dimension. And in character, I can only print, let's say 0, so it will print everybody's name's first character. So let's do the character first, and then we do the rest. So if I say I sub 0, which means if you look at it, I sub 0, when I is 0, here will be 0, right? This one. And 0, 0 is what? J. Right? 1, 0 is when I is 1, is M. So it'll only print the first character, and we can print a character, no problem. Let's try this and learn it by running it, right? But then we put a string, it will print the whole name. We'll come back to string in a minute. So let's run this. I'm sorry, I have to do this, right? You see here, name JMAMK. first character, second name first character, third name first character, fourth name first character, fifth name first character here. Name J M A K. Okay, why? Because we printed character, and when you print a character, you provide both the dimensions. So if I say instead of 1, I say 2 here. Sorry, 0 instead of 0, I say 1 here. It was 0 before, that's why I put first character. It will print the second character of every name. So it will print O, A, L, U, and K, U again. Let's see it. Okay. O, A, L, U. See, second character. And if I put here 3, it'll 2, it will put third character. See here, third character here, H. Here, third character R. Here, third character I. Here's I, right? And then D. And then M, as you see here, HRIDM. Now, why is happening? And I'm going to go back to this again. You see here, I said I sub 2. So what is 2? 2 is this row, right? This row. So N or whatever is there. It's going to print there, and this is going to change. So first time it will be 0, 2, which will be this. Second time 1, 2, which is R. And that's how it's going to print further down, right? So, but I don't want that first character. I want the whole string to be printed 2 dimensions. So I put here S, and I don't need to put the second dimension for S. I just put the first dimension and put the rest whole string, like this whole as a string it will print. And if I do that, right, if I put only this printed as a S, and then I don't need to do 2-dimension array, just I, which means when the first loop run, it'll say name sub. What it'll say? Name sub. First time when the loop run, what will be it? Name sub 0. Name sub 0. What is name sub 0? John Doe. Because as a string, it's a whole row. Because I'm printing it as a string, not as a character. String as a whole row, because I don't have to give the second dimension as well, because I'm printing the whole string. And then name sub 1 would be Mark Doe. And then so on so. Name sub 2 would be Ali Abdullah. Name sub 3 would be Madassar. Name sub 4 would be Kumar. So that's why I said name sub I. So if I run this, and you see the magic, it will print the whole name. Bingo. Name John Doe, employee ID 0, has salary of 5 Bitcoin per year with pay rise of 10% per year. How about that, right? How easy now it is to manipulate the arrays with the help of your for loop. Okay. Now we have what we did in this program is we created 2 arrays, 2-dimension 2 arrays actually, not a single dimension but double dimension. We created 2 double dimension arrays, integer HR, and then we created a name and 2 other 2 dimensions so that we can put a string in it. So you know how to work with an integer type of array and other one. So can we turn this into a float array? Of course we can. If we put it as a float array, all we have to do is put here F. Okay. All we have to do is put here, all of it would be F, right? Because it's a float now. Okay. The rest will remain as it is, and it will do what? It will print float and with the decimal point, but we didn't control the decimal point, so we'll come back to that later. You can put 5, 10, and it will make a decimal point itself. Here we go. See, 15.000, 6.000, and we want to control this, right? The outcome. So we will say 0.2. It will only take 2 decimal points. Here. If we say here 0.2, it will only take 2 decimal points, and it will do it properly. Okay, here we go. So we have now 5.00, then 10.0, and then the last one. What is this? There's a problem here. Pay rise, because we got some issue there with the pay rise. What was this pay rise for the 0? 10.00 should be. There should be any problem there. Okay, we got an issue to fix here with the pairize. Okay, let's find out what is the issue. Okay, it's good to do some bit of good to do a bit of what is the word for it? Oh, what ID is I is not, by the way, I is not ID is not a ID is integer, right? Employee ID is still an integer. You can't do F here, and the rest should be okay. Yeah, that's fine. That was the problem, right? Because what we did is we also printed F to the integer I, which is basically D, right? It's an integer, so you should percentage D for that one, and that's where it will print the I. So this is S, this is S. So you understand how that works, right? The printing. So when you do S, okay, the first one is name, that's going to get printed. Here this one I is going to get printed. Here this one HRI0 is going to get printed, and this one this is going to get printed. Okay, print F command, print F runs in a sequence like this, and this is how it is done. So now we explained you a two-dimensional array and a single-dimension array, and next what we'll do is we'll work further on this, how to update an array.